I'm having a great day. I'm still on my natural rise here, but I'm having a great day. I want to thank everybody who's about to join. I know we're going to have a lot of people here. Um, yeah, I mean, this is actually pretty cool. I like this. I like this. I like what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about radical acceptance, which basically actually transfers over to, hey, what's up? Oh, you are here. Okay, cool. I hate to do that, but you can let yourself in sometimes, I think. I don't know, but thank you for joining. I appreciate you. I just got started like a whole minute late. Um, but it's a good day. It's a good day. And I think, hey, Andy, thank you for joining. I think it's going to be, we're going to get a lot of information out there today. I really think we're going to get a lot of information out. I like the fact that we are actually not only talking about the whole system that I created. Yes, I'm going to give myself props for that. But not only about that, but I think we should touch base on the whole radical acceptance or the need to stop rewriting reality. I think that keeps so much of us stuck. I know it kept me stuck. Um, Reality doesn't change for anyone unless, and this is very important, unless you have the reality gem that Thanos had. Then you can change stuff. But I don't think it's going to happen for any of us. I really don't. I don't think we're going to get the opportunity to go find an infinity gem and change reality. And I think that if we did, and this is just me geeking out, I think we'd probably use the soul gem and probably try to help our demon ex-narc understand, the path that they're going down. But that's probably not going to happen, and they're never going to heal. So, with that being said, we need to work on ourselves. We need to stop tricking ourselves. We need to stop giving hope to where hope doesn't belong. I mean, honestly, there is so many different things in this world that we can actually throw hope upon. We can hope for so much stuff, but I'm like, I guess it's energy conservation. Why are you hoping on the narcissist? Why are you hoping that they're going to change? When they've shown you by their very actions that ain't nothing changing, buddy or missy, ain't nothing changing. I'm going to stay this way forever. But that's why we can't leave. That's why we can't leave. That's why when we get in the middle of the whole Discard thing, when we go creep their pages and creep their social medias and start asking around about them, and then we find out that but they're doing something with someone else that I always hope that they would do with me. Yeah, that's part of the act. That's part of the act. I can guarantee you guys with 99.9.9.9% surety that the narcissist is never going to change. Okay, they are stuck in this cycle. It's almost like that movie Groundhog Day. They are literally stuck in this cycle, and everybody that they come in contact with that they consider to be supply, that supply will go through the same exact thing that you went through. There's no hope. Hope on your favorite team winning. You stand a better chance. Go hope that tomorrow will be a sunny day and there'll be not a drop of rain. You can go enjoy your day. There's a good chance that might happen. Hoping that your narcissist will become a good person, and I'm going to say that you're wasting your energy. I'm just going to put that out there. We're going to wait for a few more people to get in. I have some good insights from some of my favorite people, especially my new favorite person, Dr. Amani. Um, and I try to break these up. And hey, Tom Peppers, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. You know, and let me just start off like this. There's nobody here, but I can always clip it up. Sometimes healing doesn't begin when the relationship changes. Okay. Narcissists have this thing, and this is not narcissist bashing session. It's not. They are stuck in the lane that they're stuck in, and there's nothing that we can do about it. There's, you know, I often tell the story of when I began my journey of healing. I spent an insane amount of time trying to literally find a cure for my narcissist because as most of us selfishly, I wanted the person that I met in the beginning. So, I spent a long time searching for stuff. I use AI. I'm like, somebody's got to be doing a study someplace that can fix my pet demon. It wasn't happening. And then I realized, I'm like, you're wasting time. I mean, when you're using, I think I was using Perplexity, I was using OpenAI, and what else was I using? I was using another search engine. I don't have access to CRISPR, so I couldn't use that. But I was using something else, and I just kept on getting the same answer, no matter how I phrased the prompt, no matter which engine I was using. It didn't matter. It was coming back. Highly unlikely that narcissists cure. It's a very, very infinitesimal, freaking amount of narcissists that their mental health provider will say, okay, they're cured, which is probably a lie because it makes them look good. I think a cured narcissist could actually set up a social media page and probably would be rich overnight, have a gazillion followers, because look at how many of us are out there hoping. Oh, thank you so much. And Madison, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining, Madison Sinclair. Um, yeah, how many of us would, if there was a research study going on someplace where they said, we're getting some good results. We're turning these demons into human beings again. You know, how many of us, especially during that time where you wasn't fully discarded yet, you'd have found a way to make the money. And again, selfishly, because you wanted the person that you met in the beginning. And that's what the narcissistic relationship decoder is really about. It really, at its core, that is what it's about. It's about radical acceptance. I think we should call it extreme non-negotiable acceptance, because we go no place until we walk down that path. Anybody that has just been discarded knows that you're walking around in circles. One day is a great day. The next day you're sitting up in bed saying, "I wonder what they're doing." And the sad part, the very mean part of it is, it's done on intention. It's done on purpose. The narcissist actually leaves this little mental booby trap so that you feel this way, so that they feel important. Oh, Madison, you are the bestest. You're the bestest, Madison. So yeah, healing doesn't begin when the relate. Because I took a whole rabbit hole, but healing doesn't begin when the relationship changes. And what I mean by when it changes is, narcissists do this thing that they call future faking. Okay, it's a real thing. I didn't make it up. Future faking, where in order to hold on to their victim or their supply, what they do is they breadcrumb them to death. Like, they'll say crazy things like, I'm just going through a lot of stress right now. Things will get back. I will give you the relationship that you really want. They'll say things like, I'm going to go get help. I'm going to go get treatment. There's actually something wrong here. I can tell because I see it's making you feel this way. This is usually the reason why you can tell it's future faking. Is it's usually you start hearing all these promises because they can sense that you're done, but they're not done with you yet. There's still a little bit of supply that they feel that they can get out of you. So they're not done with you yet. So they start breadcrumbing you with all of these promises, all of these, I hear you, I'm going to try to do better. And again, hope creeps up. It's like it's just been hanging on the back of our shirt. And see, everything is coming back to the way that we wanted it to come back to. But then you soon find out that there's no action behind it. It's just a bunch of empty words. There's no behavioral changes with your pet demon. Your pet demon is still being a pet demon. Your pet demon is still trying to dismiss your feelings. Your pet demon is still making you feel emotionally unbalanced. So again, we come to this stage where we know how we feel. We know how this dynamic is making our nervous system, our emotions, just like a roller coaster. And we know the reason why. We know because there is one thing in our life right now that where this whole dynamic started. And we know this. We know this because we'll start saying things to ourselves like, oh my God, my life was never like this. I've never had these many problems of my own. I've never been this stressed in my whole life. And we know. We know why we feel this way. But because, and this is very important, because we're trying to get back to phase one, aka the love bombing stage, where they seem to be our perfect mate, where they seem to be our perfect soulmate, we're trying to get back there. And we will climb every mountain, sail every sea, cross every freaking desert to get back to that stage because there was so much hope and potential in the person that you met in the beginning. And you are still trying to figure out, as a rational human being, you're trying to make sense of this. Where did it switch? Where did it change? Where did they become so cold? When did they become so dismissive? Why do I feel like I'm in a competition with my own partner? When did all of this start? Deep down inside, we know. We know, but we continue to do that thing. We see the pattern, but then we rewrite it. I don't know. When I was growing up, and I'm going to tell you how old I am, we used to have those like Tyco racing sets. And I go to my uncle's house and we put it together. And we had the ones with the lights, and he turned up the lights and with the little trigger thing. We're sitting up there just racing all around the living room. And then you have to take the track apart and put it back in the box. Next time you play with it, you had to open the box, take the track, and put it up. You couldn't. The track was set up in such a way that, especially when you had the larger models, it wasn't just like an oval. They had hills and loop the loops and stuff like that. And you had to follow the directions. You had to set it up a certain way, or it wasn't going to work. The cars would go flying off of the track. Let's just say you tried to force something. You as a little kid were going to be super creative that day, and you was going to make a different loop. The car is going to go flying off the track, because the way that things were intended to go. Who wants to team match? This is not about team matching. I thank you, but I'm not going to do team matches. We're talking about real stuff here. We're talking about narcissistic abuse. But thank you for the invite. I know all the interactive stuff on TikTok is really cool. But yeah, so what we're doing is that the cars they have the potential to go off the track, and we soon learn, okay, I can't deviate from the reality. Reality is I need to follow these directions, and I need to just go ahead and put it together the way that this little directional pamphlet says do it, or this little big sheet of paper says to do it. So that's the reality, okay? Anytime you start deviating from the reality back to the narcissistic dynamic, back to the narcissistic relationship, anytime you start deviating from the reality, what happens? You go flying off of the track because that's what's happening to you. Your nervous system is screwed up because the reality was, hey, listen, this relationship doesn't feel right. Based on all of the relationships that I had previously, you know what? This still doesn't feel right. This is not following the way that I expected this relationship to go. This keeps on changing on a dime. I am in emotional distress, and I can't even speak to my partner about it because if I speak to my partner about it, I am met with more confusion. I am met with that I'm being too sensitive. I am met with that I'm being too emotional. I am met with this isn't the time to talk about this. I am met with why do you have to always ruin a good time? So my emotions that are actually bothering me are being dismissed. So what do we do? Instead of putting our foot down, say, no, we need to talk about this. Instead of saying, hey, listen, no. Just like when you have stuff that you feel is important, I feel that this is important. So we make time for what we feel to be important. We never do that. We walk away and we say stuff like, oh, they're having a bad day. Oh, you know what? Maybe I am being kind of emotional. Maybe I am overthinking it. That's what we do. But we knew what the reality was because our nervous system alerted to us. Like, dude, Missy, this feels real uncomfortable. We're just trying to tell our partner why we feel that this relationship isn't going as expected. And maybe find a solution, as most couples do, on how we can get this relationship back on the right track. You know, we never put our foot down like we've done in other relationships and say, you know what, this isn't working. No matter how much I try, this is not working. I'm very unhappy here. I feel we should go our separate ways. We don't do that. And the reason why we don't do that is because that's why I call it phase one, because you will not be caught in a narcissistic dynamic unless phase one works. Hey, Wante, what's up, Mr. Christian? If phase one doesn't work, if you do not fall head over heels in love, and if you're in a devaluation stage and you've been with this person for over 2 years and they're living with you, more than likely phase one worked. Okay, I'm going to tell you, phase one worked. There's nobody that can say that they didn't love this person. They didn't think that this was their soulmate, that they didn't think that this was the person that they was going to go off into the next reality with, because, hey, listen, we're going to be together forever. We all felt that way. And again, I tell people this constantly, there's no shame in that. Don't blame yourself. You just did what regular people are supposed to do. You basically, thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate you. And thank you, Dawn Marie, for reposting this. You know, you're sitting up here, and again, we go back to the front of the ranch. You know how this person is making you feel. So why? Why are you finding it so difficult to do the same thing that you've probably done a couple of times in your life? Just walk away. Maybe have the conversation, but walk away. The reason why is because phase one worked so good. A narcissist will never stay around if phase one doesn't work. They will go find somebody else. Dawn Marie says it's a spell. Yes, it is. If the spell, phase one, whatever you call it, if it doesn't work, you don't have to worry about that person being in your life. They're going. It's part of their disorder. They're like, danger, danger. Phase one isn't working. This is not going to be a good source of supply. And they go find somebody else. Hopefully they find another empath. You were the empath, but they're going to throw in the towel if they see that maybe you've been in a narcissistic relationship as an empath. Maybe you have healed as an empath. Maybe you become what narcissists say. You become the super empath. You see right through them before it starts. You become a super empath actually by default, from what I understand, once you heal. You become like the kryptonite to the narcissist. Okay, because you can see through their every act, you can see through their every ploy. That shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't want to heal, but it's a nice walkaway gift. You know, so the narcissist in phase one isn't working. They're not going to waste your time. Thank you so much, Keith. I appreciate you. You are the awesomest. You know, so yeah, if it doesn't work, they're going to walk away. If that's happened to you, you don't even have to watch this live. You're good. You're Gucci. You know, but if it does work, and some of the ways that Monte, why don't you come on up here? Damn, you're crazy. And Keith is here. I'm going to let Keith up because Keith be helping people. Hold on 1 second. And there you go. I gotta add you to my group, Keith. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, brother.
How you doing today, Keith? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got about 40 minutes before our live, but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you never sent me an invite. I wanted to go take part in your live. I want to see your live.
Okay, we got one. We're starting at in about 40 minutes.
Okay. After I get off of this one, maybe I'll jump on over there. You know, my day is.
Yeah, we usually last 3 or 4 hours.
Okay. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't have that energy anymore, man. Y'all are young bucks. But yeah, so if I'm talking about radical acceptance today, because it's actually it hinges on one of the main aspects of my new healing system. When the narcissist sees that they've got you in their hooks, and they know, you know, because you start doing that silly stuff like, oh, I love you, or where have you been all my life? And, you know, all of the stuff that we do when we literally fall in love, you know. We got butterflies in our stomach when we're around them, and we're just trying to show them everything. Oh, thank you so much. We're trying to show them everything about us. We want to share everything with them, you know. then they know they got you. And I guarantee after that, you're going to start to notice inconsistencies. You're going to start to notice things that it's going to rub you the wrong way, not in an angry way, but where did that come from? You know, we find ourselves in this constant state of saying, where the hell did that come from? I didn't deserve that. Why are they acting this way? That's your sign. Because now you're starting to already feel emotionally unsafe. But what do? We go ahead, we take out the pen and say that the kids drove them crazy, or they had a bad day at work, or that thing that they ordered, a porch pirate took it off of the porch.
That's why we make excuses for them.
Huh? I'm sorry, go ahead, Keith.
We make excuses for them.
Yeah. No, you can talk about it. I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just affirming what you were saying. I did it for 20 years. Yeah. And look at the time period that we continue. And you're not the only one. There's people that have been. I think somebody was in live last night and said that they got out after 35 years. You know, so it keeps on going. And then, you know, you're not paying attention to the fact that emotionally you don't feel safe in this relationship. And I think that an interpersonal relationship like family, your boo thing, your mate, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, I think those are the places past every place else that you should feel emotionally safe. Now with the narcissist, you know that you're not emotionally safe. But as Keith said, you're making excuses. You know, what do you have to say about this, Wante? We'll keep you from typing. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Like I had said before in a couple of our lives, that's one of the reasons why I stayed for so long, because I always made excuses. I always felt like I was the fixer, and that I could carry his emotions and mine too.
Right.
Yep. But at some point, you realize that it's just not healthy. It's not a healthy thing to do at all.
Yeah. Thank you. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, and the strange thing is, you just don't see it. They have you so conditioned over that many years that you don't notice it. And it's really wild after you're out and you look back at it. Like, she had me so separated. I saw my wife or my mom and my sister 3 times in 21 years.
Yeah.
Now, how do you not like see that?
They isolate you. That's part of it, because they can't have anybody else see through their mask or get in the way of bringing you back to the person that you were. See, like, same thing that happened to me. You know, people that I had known for decades before I even knew this person existed, all of a sudden whispering in my ear, can you trust this person? I get a strange feeling from this person, this, that, and the other, because they need to isolate you. Again, this is all done on purpose. Don't think that they don't know what they're doing. That's how we get trapped. Because in all reality, when you start noticing the things like this, the isolation, the separating from people that really matter in your life, you know, the constant, everybody's against you and they're just there to save you from a bunch of heartache. This is your partner. Remember that. You know, through all of that, it's calculated. It's calculated to keep you trapped. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, most definitely, because remember we talked about in a couple of lives before how they study you. They study you. They ask questions. We leak out pertinent information to them, and they weaponize it. They use it against you. Once they get you in their hooks, everything that they learned about you, they use it to keep you stagnated, to keep you unstable, and keep you in a confused state. That's what they do. But until that one particular thing that happened, because all of us empaths has that one particular thing that cracks that mask. And until they hit that one particular thing, when that mask is cracked and it fall off, it's just like going from night to day. You'd be like, how the H-E-L-L? They've been doing this for years. Like, did I really put up with this for 30 years? I must be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, they'll slip past you now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll slip past you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was going to say, for 21 years, mine was covert, and she was in her early 40s when I first met her, and she had been doing it her whole life. I found out later.
Yeah.
She was very, very good at the covert, perfect Christian wife mask, and I didn't see it for 21 years.
Yep.
And I didn't even have other people. She had me so separated. You know, the mask worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't, and I think back on it, if I was like 15 years in and somebody would have come and said to me, you know, this woman is a total fake and a narcissist, I would have defended her because I couldn't see it.
Yep. You know, and I'm going to tell you, you just answered somebody's question or statement, I would say. Rocket Man Harold, thank you for joining and thank you for taking the time to put this comment in. He says self-awareness, leading yourself in spite of how you feel. Yeah. And you know what? You are 110% correct. However, just as Keith just brought up, by the way, Keith does run an organization that helps male survivors. You guys might want to follow him, see what he has going on. But Rocket Man Hero, back to you. Yeah, but like Keith just said, you're dealing with a person that has been practicing their nefarious arts for the last few decades, not years. A narcissist doesn't awaken one day and say, you know what? It's my 39th birthday. I'm going to be a narcissist. They've been doing this since almost childhood. Yeah. So through the years, they've gotten better. So some of us, again, I've been through 3 of these. The first 2, because I was younger, I wasn't really good at what they did. But in hindsight, they were trying. They were trying to put that spell over me. They were trying. I think the first one just kept me around as a practice dummy, you know, because they would try different techniques. They would try to do different things. But since they wasn't very good at it, I saw through it. And I'm sorry, I just got a message. You know, I saw through it and I just exited stage left. You know, I still felt the pain. I still had the little inklings of the trauma bomb, but it didn't last as long. But this one, the last one, oh, they were the Bernie Madoffs of phase 1. They knew exactly what they was doing. They knew what questions to ask. They knew which questions to evade and how to do it. So I didn't pay attention to the fact that they evaded said question. So yeah, it's easy to say that when you're dealing with a non-disorder having human being. But when you're dealing with someone that this is the way that they literally survive, because they got to keep their shame down. This is how they literally survive. No, that doesn't hold. Okay. I don't think any of the people that got caught by Bernie mad, if they're mad, but they have to admit it's like, well, damn, he was good. He pitched a really good one to me. You know. Go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you. So this is something in my healing phase that was really, really a big hurdle for me, that I was thrown by a lot of people, including a therapist, that you have to forgive them in order to heal and move on.
Yeah.
I call total BS on that one because I never, ever will forgive her.
Right.
But I am moved past it. I do not give a flip what happens to her now.
There you go.
She rents 0 space in my head, and but I will never forgive her.
Right. I don't know where you found that therapist at. Please, I would give them a Yelp review or something with a 0. I mean, I'm not going to. What bothers me is when survivors blame themselves, because we all go through that stage where we're kicking ourselves in the butt and being stupid. I try to remind people, well, what did you do wrong? In your mind, even though you was ignoring all the red flags, in your mind, you thought you were entering into a relationship with someone that you actually valued. So why wouldn't you love them? That would make you a bad person as far as I'm concerned. You know? So but once you find out, what you felt before you found out was real to you. That was the reality. You loved them. So
what I usually tell people is forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Stop kicking yourself. Don't get angry at yourself. But then again, one of the things that I say this often, don't be angry at the narcissist. Like you said, just evict them out of your head. But don't get angry at them, because when you're angry at them, oh, thank you so much, thank you for the rose. But when you're angry at them, believe it or not, you're still in their orbit. You are literally still in their orbit. They're still getting supply from you. So when you're going around the world and doing lives and saying, yeah, I'm going to get my narcissist back and they're going to pay, or you're walking out the door saying that.
Yeah.
They're not human beings. You're not hurting them. You're feeding them.
Yep.
So, yeah, go ahead. You guys can talk about that.
Yeah.
I just want to touch a little bit on forgiveness. I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but this is just what I've learned. And not even just forgiving a narcissist, just forgiving people, period, in general.
People?
We have to remember.
Did you say people?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm following you now.
Just people in general. Yeah,
okay.
Just people in general. You know, forgiveness is for everybody, but you have to think about when you're forgiving a person, it's not for the person that you're forgiving, it's for yourself.
Yes.
You're forgiving them for yourself. So when you don't forgive, you leave a part or space in you that is unhealed and a door that is not closed, which in turn will in some kind of way it will end up being a hindrance to you moving forward.
Okay.
It's what I believe.
No, and that's fine, and everybody can. But how do you honestly forgive a person? Because I used to do workshops on this, so I've had these questions before. So first off, you said a person. So we can all agree that we're not dealing with a person because the narcissist is
exactly
the same debt. So I understand what you're saying as far as people. Yes, forgive and forget. You know, keep on moving with your life. But like I said, mine sits in my mind, demon picture. When I think about them, like right now, I'm talking to you and I'm thinking about them. A little picture of a demon pops up in my head. That's my reminder. Seriously, that's my mental reminder. Now, to forgive them, how do you forgive a person that knowingly hurt you? How do you forgive a person that actually weaponized your love? How do you forgive a person that basically said that they loved you, okay, essentially lied at the highest level, and every morning they were trying to figure out new ways to make your life a living hell? I can forget them. That's cool, but I'm never going to forget that person. I'm not going to seek revenge after them. I'm not. And like I told Keith, I accept the fact that I fell in love with them. So go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
I think you're right. Love down in the bottom said, the definition of forgiveness, I think, is the key to this. And I would term mine as a biblical sense of forgiveness, because in order for there to be any type of even platform to forgive, they have to, one, acknowledge what they did was wrong. Two, say they will never do it again and ask for the forgiveness. And we all know that they will never do that. So in my mind, there's no basis for that with them at all.
And on the flip side of that, there's no basis for revenge. Again, we're dealing with a person that doesn't see. Once we stop thinking that this person thinks like the rest of the functional world, a lot of these different concepts that we use, like revenge, forgiveness, as you pointed out, Keith, you know, all these things, they take a different turn because, well, how is this person? Remember, a lot of things that we do as human beings, we do it not only to the interaction, but we do it for ourselves mentally, psychologically.
Yes.
You know, so if you're doing something based on the fact of a normal person, you're not going to get the response. As Keith said, they're not going to reflect. They're not going to turn around and give you a heartfelt, you know what, that was wrong. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't want to be with you anymore, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. That's never going to happen.
Right.
So if you're not going to get the remorse, you're not going to get the sense of empathy, because you're telling this person, by even trying to forgive them, that they hurt you. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get the empathy back. So again, wasted energy. Energy conservation here, people. We're getting older. We got to save this energy here. But thank you for bringing that up, Monte. I love you for that. I do. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I just say, I mean, that's just how I am. I just, you know, not so much that I'm forgetting what they did to me, because I will never forget what they done to me. But I just refuse to
let them bring you down.
Let them have any piece of me. And I feel like me not forgiving them is letting them have a piece of me still.
No, I get it. And I'm not crossing what you said. I'm not crossing what you said.
Right.
Go ahead.
There's something else that I just try to give this to people that have been through it. What I was struggling with was the trauma bond, and that after you even get out, and mine almost came very close to unaliving me with the pew pew. So, and still being trauma bonded to her, it was very confusing as to how can I still have loving feelings toward this evil person. But weirdly, I found the answer on Reddit. I was in some groups there when I was going through my trauma healing. My healing was, if you look at the mask and the person that they really are as two separate people, and the mask that you're in love with, once you're out and you mourn that person because they never truly existed, the mask, you mourn that as though they have passed away.
Yep. That's a good. I love that.
Yes.
Maybe I can take the demon out my head and put a coffin there. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Keith.
We can get it. I don't know what people, everybody's face that is in the chat, but if you want to look at it in a biblical sense, you got to remember Jesus sat at the table at the Last Supper, and he knew that he was exchanging bread and water with somebody that was going to betray him later. He knew that, but he still went to it. Didn't stop him from going to the cross.
Yeah, but he had other things going on. That's why that had to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lesson for all of us. And, as far as, people's faith, whatever keeps you positive, I'm good with. I tend to read from many different religious texts. I think they're basic instructions for all of us. But, Wante, I agree with you. But, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that, I don't think Judas was privy to that was going to turn out and happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at it, because I will drift all day. Who would agree with this? Sometimes healing begins when you finally stop rewriting what you have been experiencing. Who would agree with that statement that's here?
That's a good question.
Thank you for the likes, everyone. I appreciate you.
Yeah, can you repeat that again?
Okay, so
I'm gonna buy some homework right there, minister.
So here we go. This is what it was my homework. I got to type this stuff up. So sometimes healing begins when you finally stop rewriting what you have been experiencing. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think I was in a loop of a long time in my healing journey of, well, I guess for me it was going back and looking at all the red flags I missed, but also, what if I would have done this? Would have turned out different. So yes, I agree with that. Yes.
I agree with you. Well, what do you have to say, Wante?
Now that I heard the way he's broken it down and looking at it in a different direction, if you keep, sitting in the same spot and reliving it over and over again, you'll never press forward. So I agree with that. Okay.
And Love says, and thank you for putting this in, she says, meaning question, like acceptance. Well, accepting your emotional reality. Because we know how the narcissist made us feel. So with healing, would that be like
something that would induce healing for you if you stopped, you know, I guess making excuses for them, as we all have done at some point.
So basically, we're saying stop making them the star of the show. That's basically.
Yeah, basically. They were the star at the love bombing stage. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait to see if Love agrees with that answer. But yeah, I think, you know, again, this is why I work so hard. Thank you, Wheels, for following me. I appreciate you. I think that's why I worked so hard on Narcissistic Relationship Decoder. I think I put module 0 up. I think you saw it, Wante. And thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that. What it is getting people. Wait, Love says, I think acknowledging that you're valuable comes first, then accepting what happened. But okay, so oftentimes we devalue ourselves before the narc could ever. Yes, and the narc does play off of that. They do sense those weaknesses as empaths in us. However, yes, I understand what you're saying. Find the value in yourself, work on yourself. But I think if you've been in a dynamic like this, that you spent an insane amount of time excusing away behavior that you would have never accepted from anyone else. And I find in my life that until I stopped making excuses, the process to healing never began. I had to literally stop giving excuses over to this person, or even the excuse of, you know what, I'm stressed already. I don't feel like another argument. I don't feel like another circle jerk conversation. I don't, you know. So yeah, and you know what that is, you know, again, radical acceptance. But you have to remember, you're not giving up. See, a lot of people walk out the door or watch the narcissist walk out the door and say, maybe if I just tried a little bit harder. Okay, no, it's not giving up. It's not becoming bitter. Okay, because a lot of people, we get that revenge kick. I'm going to get my lick back. I saw behind your mask. I saw what the hell you are. You're going to pay for that. And you know, an important thing, and I think Wante, you touched on that with the whole thing about forgiveness, is not losing your compassion. See, the narcissist wants you to think like them at the end. So at the very least, they can say, see, just like me. They want you to be like them. They want you to be cruel. They want you to be heartless. You're an empath. You're not built for that. So just once you heal, that should be your first thing. Remending these relationships that you lost because of the narcissist. Going back to being the nice, caring person that you are, because by the time the end comes, you're a piece of work yourself. You know, you got to admit it, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny too, because the thing that drew us to them is the light. Yep. That is so funny. They love the light that is enough, but at the end of the day, they can't stand the light. Yeah, so when they get with you, the light makes them look better in other people's eyes. But behind closed doors, they don't like that light. Yep. You are just an accessory, just like you can put a necklace or earrings. And when they're done, when you're done with your accessories, you go home and do what? Put it back on the shelf, right? That's what they do.
Yeah, you are an accessory. I don't think a lot of us realize that. You know, that we are worn like a beard, as they say. Especially if you have standing in the community, it makes them feel normal. That's why narcissists, a lot of people say, well, why would they propose to me? Why would they want to be married to me? Marriage makes them look normal. It takes the spotlight off of them. You know, now people, and they're still doing the same stuff. It's not like they're going to change because you traded off vows or put a ring on each other's finger. They're not going to change.
No. It's you get worse.
Yes. Because now they know they got you. You know, go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
Hey, that was exactly what mine did. I was what validated her mask, her story. You know, the perfect Christian couple, and that's what she used. And I was going to ask, like early on, before I got with her, and I'd never figured this out 24 years later. I was remembering back to when I first met her, and she put me in situations to test my reaction, the empathetic reaction to those.
The loyalty test and stuff like that.
Yeah, she hang out, and then she told me that she used to go out with him.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, just to test if I was okay with it. It was.
Yeah, they do that on purpose. You know they do.
Yeah, that was testing boundaries right there for sure.
How long you was gonna go along with it? Many people find that the narcissist will do things and then they'll amp it up in increments. You know, the silent treatment at first was just a day or two, and then sometimes you can go a whole month and feel like you're on the cell block above them. They do it in increments because the narcissist always needs to know your breaking point. Because depending on how much supply they think they can get from you, again, this is why they're aware of what they're doing. This is why just when you're at your wit's end, when they have you on the I'm going to ignore you, I'm going to act like you don't exist, I'm going to act like you're not a real person, just when you're at wit's end, that's when they come around and give you a hug and, hey, we don't spend any time together. Hey, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, you stop talking to me. I've been trying to talk to you for the whole month. You know, but they can sense it. They can sense that you're about to leave. You know?
Yeah. I was just going to say they call it breadcrumbing you. Giving you just enough to keep you there.
Keep you there.
No more than that, but just enough.
Yep. Until you see through the mask. See, once you stop putting the tape on their mask, because that's what the hell you're doing, you're trying to keep the illusion alive. So you're walking around with masking tape, and every time you see a crack, you're putting it. But there comes one point where they become, usually it's because they feel that either their new supply has been vetted and trained already, or or you see through their mask. This is, or you're starting to see more than they want you to see. That's when they become like rabid dogs. Okay.
Oh, they're dangerous right here.
They're dangerous, and you will know when you reach that stage is because it's almost like they're phasing in and out of emotional realities. They can't control their emotions as it is, but there were times like 1 hour they're love bombing me, then an hour later they're cursing me out, calling me the worst person in the world, because they don't know how to react to the fact that now, beyond the shadow of a doubt, you know what they are. Go ahead. Have you guys experienced that once you saw past? I mean, you're horrified already, but just to watch them just go bat-ish crazy, I mean, how did that make you guys feel?
Now, remember, I told you my story about how I caught my husband. And I promise you, it wasn't 2 hours later, it wasn't 3 hours later, it was exactly right after the minute I caught him cheating was when everything in our marriage changed. He turned into a whole total different. Before I caught him cheating, he was just fine. But once I found out that he was something else besides what he wanted me to see, that changed immediately. And it has not gotten any better since. It is better. Because now he's mad because he can't do what he want to do in peace. That's what that is.
Well, I tell you what. So mine, she actually had. So we were supposed to be the perfect Christian couple. She actually had she was 62 at the time I found out. She had brought 2 younger men into our relationship as we were mentoring them and helping them.
Oh my God!
I was teaching them how to barbecue and taking them fishing and all this. When I finally figured it out, they were right there the whole time. She had supplied the whole 21 years. It wasn't just at the end; it was the whole time.
That's what I'm telling you guys. Rewriting reality, you're doing yourself a disservice if you feel a certain way. And that's what this, I hate to keep on talking about the course, but I'm proud on how I built it. Okay. Like the personalized, customized GPT is actually like a program. but it's based on helping you decode these things in your relationship, because you reach a certain stage where it feels off. You just can't put your finger on it. You know, they're talking to you a certain way, and you're getting text messages. It doesn't make sense. You can actually, after you get past the initial questions, you can actually put that into the app, and it will spit out. It will decode. That's what it's called, decoder. It will decode what that message means. You know, and sometimes if you're trying to respond, if you're just learning how to do gray rock or yellow rock, it will give you a response to send back to keep you from being emotionally dragged in. As we know, the narcissist, if you've got to contact them, it's never easy. They are going to drag you into something unless you're careful. You know, again, it's supply. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry. Hey, Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie's one of our people. He's got some amazing talent musically.
Okay, cool.
I wrote a song about narcissist relationships, and he put the music to it.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Okay, I'm gonna send me the link or put it in the chat so we can listen to it. I think Dawn Marie, she made a song as well, and she sent me a song. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a DJ. I couldn't play a musical instrument if it meant saving my life.
Well, I can't. Yeah, that's why I wrote the lyrics. I didn't sing a note, but I wrote the lyrics for
Okay.
Yeah, but Minister, you remember the other day how we was talking about towards the end is when they really start acting weird.
Yeah.
And doing all kind of the devalue stage.
Right.
It's like the weirdest part of the whole relationship with them. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I served in the Navy, and you know, anybody that served in the armed forces, you know, you got to go through boot camp. I think boot camp was the most devaluating stage of my life, because you knew there was nothing you could do. You know, there's nothing you can. You just got to take it. You got to sit there, look straight ahead, and take it. You know, they'll talk about your mother. They'll talk about your girlfriend. You know, I saw guys that they would take the, you know, the girls would send them pictures, and they said they better not be none of those improper pictures. Give me that box. And one time, passed the pictures around to everybody in the barracks, but they have no clue what a narcissist can do, because the narcissist actually knows you. You gave them all the information. So when they load up that arrow is tipped with everything that you have given them that could possibly hurt you. And near the end, they're like Felix the cat. They're pulling this stuff out all freaking day long. You told them something that you're scared of. Oh, we're going to talk about that for the next 48 hours. You told them something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Oh, we're going to spend the next 3 days talking about that.
Yeah, but the only thing about that conversation is when you have that 3 day or that 48-hour conversation, it's all about what you did.
Yep.
It's not about them.
Of course.
It's all about what you did and what gives them an excuse for doing what they do, basically, is what it is.
Your fault why they did it.
Yeah. And Dawn Marie says it is the Twilight Zone. I don't think Rod Serling could write an episode, and I'm a big Twilight Zone lover. I don't think I've ever seen an episode that comes close to the horrors of narcissistic abuse. You know, I mean, if you've lived it, you know it's horrible. You know, you get to. I wouldn't let this person make coffee near the end. I would just make my own coffee. You know, they could be right in the kitchen. I wasn't going to yell out and say, "Hey, can you bring me a cup of coffee out the pot or something?" I didn't trust them. I really didn't trust them, you know. And I think, hey, Narcissistics here, look at her. You know, I think I found that even when they were cooking, I mean, we had kids in the house, so I think that was a safe zone, but I would still go chat.
Because my husband, he used to try to use our daughter. And sometimes he still do. He'll have my daughter go pick up food and bring it to me, but just the simple fact that he paid for it, I still won't eat it. I don't eat anything that he sent to me, or even if he cooked it himself and brought it here. I don't take anything from him.
Yeah, I'm looking at hey Narcissistic. Thank you. I appreciate it. See you tonight. But yeah, I mean, when you people are out there listening to this, this is not us telling horror stories. This is the reality that most of you either have experienced or are experiencing. Okay, and that's why this is why you need to stop rewriting the pattern. You need to stop changing the story to fit your needs. Your needs being you're trying to get the person that you fell in love with back. And I get that. You put in some work. You spent years with this person. Why can't you fix them? Because it's unfixable. You know, yes. I mean, if you had like dolls or action figures when you were younger, there comes a point where the action figure got to go in the garbage. You know, it's got hands missing, it's got arms missing. You know, you don't put it in the Play-Doh machine and now it's all crushed up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's over. It's done. It's a done deal. You got to throw it away. Go ahead.
One of the things, too, and it's a hard thing to have to come to realize that you're addicted to a person. Mm-hmm. You know, it's embarrassing that it's not an actual drug, but it's a person. Yeah. But at the end of the day, addiction is addiction. It doesn't matter what you're addicted to. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we have to do when we have an addiction problem is we have to actually mouth it out and say, hey, I'm addicted to this person and I need help. Yep. Yeah. And once you get to that point to where you can admit and be truthful to yourself, the journey gets a little bit easier. I'm not going to say you're going to, recover overnight, because that's not true, because addicts don't recover overnight. It takes time. It takes practice. Yeah. You have to stick to it.
Yep. I'm glad you brought that up, because if you're in the middle of this dynamic, look at your situation. I mean, I can only be honest about this. Look at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes it's the first spot. If you've been with this person for years, I can almost guarantee that you have gone through a dramatic change, physically. I worked in the ER when I was younger, so I have like a super huge, immune factor. I'm around sick people all day long, and that's the way it works. So usually a lot of stuff, I don't worry about, cold stuff like that. I really don't worry about it, as long as I'm still in the area where I worked at. But what happened was I started to notice that, hell, the kids could call for me and I'm like in bed, because my body was a wreck. And I tell a story, you know how banks have those mirrored windows? I'll never forget the day that I was walking past the bank, caught my reflection out the side of my eye, and actually backpedaled and looked in the mirror. I was like, what the hell happened to you? I mean, I used to be like a football player when I met this person. I mean, as far as my build, I was like 207 pounds when I met them. I'm like, I'm still trying to get above 170 now. That's stress. All of this is stress.
Yeah. Stress affects health 100%.
So if you see this stuff happening, if you feel this stuff, again, you need to, if you can't stop rewriting reality, and we all know when we do it. We know when we pick up the pen in our mind and we make excuses for these people. We know when we're doing it, because we're trying to keep the peace. We can't take another argument today. I get that. Also, again, because we're hoping, thank you, Badass Mom, for following me. Also, we are still trying to get this person back, or make them at least understand that they're hurting us. So I get that. But if we look at the junkie thing, this is what's happening. You're hitting rock bottom, literally. You don't like the way you look. You don't like the way that you think. And just like the junkie, you're making excuses because you're waiting for the next dopamine hit. You're waiting for when you're seen again. You're waiting for when they act like they actually care again. So there's really no difference.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's 2 o'clock. I got to go, guys.
All right, I'm going to try to join you in a few. All right, definitely.
All right.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Nice
Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Always a
Nice
pleasure,
meeting
bro.
you all.
Nice meeting you, Keith.
You too, dear. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So yeah, this is why I'm saying, you know, here's the deal. If you follow, you don't even have to follow me. If you go up in my bio, there's a whole blueprint. There's a whole bunch of free stuff. The Somatic Saturdays that Nog Talks runs is up there. You know, there's a Discord group that she's building. It's up there. You know, so it's not like I'm just here trying to sell you guys courses and consults. No, it's not. There's a ton of free stuff up there that I took time to make. I'm not talking about one-page stuff. I'm talking about full audio books. Okay, I do that because I believe in my heart of hearts, my soul of souls, that nobody should have to go through this. Or if they have to go through this, thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate you. Hey, Darren, you gonna have to stop that, okay? Because unless you want to send me the 5,000, you know, my Cash App is up in the thing. So I think you're playing. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, when you look at what you're going through, you have to deal with the emotional truth. You're experiencing this. Nobody else is experiencing this but you. I mean, as far as in your life. You know, a relationship shouldn't be emotionally confusing. That's not a relationship. Yes, some people that have disagreements in relationships, things don't work out perfectly. Relationships by default are not perfect. It's something that you're supposed to be able to build upon. However, now here's the reality of it. The narcissist ain't trying to build on nothing. You're doing all the work. And the reason why is because phase one worked really, really good on you. And you're literally trying to go back to phase one. Literally. Thank you for the heart, me badass mama. I appreciate you. But yeah, what do you guys say to that one, Tay?
Yeah, that's basically what it is that you're always trying to get right back to the beginning, like how it was when you first met them.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is, once they sense that you got any kind of hint of who they are, all that stuff changes. And eventually it's going to change anyway because they're always out seeking new supply.
Yep. And
that's what they were doing before they met you, before they married you, before they started dating you.
Yeah.
They're always out there vetting new supply.
Yeah. Because they're bottomless. They're literally a bottomless pit. They always need, and Narcissistic hit it on the head, always roll casting. You know, they need, I mean, that's one of the hard things that survivors had to face once you figure out that, yeah, this is a narcissist. I don't need any doctor to sign off on this. This is a straight narcissist. Once you figure that out, you start figuring out all the stuff that goes along with that disorder. Then you start figuring out all the missing time. Then you start figuring out all the times where in the house, their phone, there's a charger tied to their leg, but they go out the house, all of a sudden they can't find the charger and they can't charge their phone, even though there's a charger and a cord inside the car. So, you know, you start to put the pieces together. But here's the problem. You start telling yourself, but I got no proof. What are you going to do at this stage? You're going to talk to them? How's that been working out for you? You're trying to talk to a person that if you told them that you just lost your leg that morning due to a construction accident, they're going to blow you off. So talking about the fact that there's infidelity in your relationship, how do you really think that's going to go? You know,
it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, it's not, and that's why I try to tell people those two words that Dr. Romani says all the time: radical acceptance. It's you know what, I would like to tell you that it's going to get better and that you could bypass that step, but the honest truth is that's the step that's holding you back. That's the step, because imagine if you're still trapped in this, if you're still trying to figure it out. Imagine if you didn't feel poked by them anymore because you know that they're a freaking demon. Imagine, especially if you're just coming out of a relationship, imagine when your phone rings, it doesn't bother you. You're more concerned with
Who could that be? Instead of, I hope that's them. I hope they realize what they did to me. So these are the things, because again, everybody's been there. Anybody that says that I'm a survivor, they've been there. This is nothing new. We're dealing with basically a demon that has to follow the same rules, and they all do the same freaking thing. They do. It always ends with 3 phases. That's why I tell people, stop worrying about the new supply. You're ahead of the game. You're winning. Trust me, you're winning. Because the new supply is going to get the same freaking thing that you got. Or they're going to get discarded faster because A, they're not an empath, or B, they're just dumb.
Yeah, because at that point they're in damage control at that point, and when they're in damage control, they don't care what they do to you, as long as they control the narrative.
They might have a new supply on top of the new supply, and a new supply on top of that, just to cover their bases. Again, stop thinking of these things like they're human beings. Stop. It's never going to add up. It's not. And you're going to find that you're going to heal that much quicker. I know people get mad at me when I say stuff like this. I know there's somebody right now saying, yeah, you don't know. Mine might be a narcissist, but they're not that bad. It's the same thing. It's the same system. It's the same demon. I'm going to tell you.
The person who's saying that my narcissist is not that bad, if they can realize that the narcissists have phases that they go through.
Yeah.
So if he's not that bad, you're probably still in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah. So
you haven't reached the point to where we're being and coming from.
Yeah. It's never. I mean, we've actually had people in these lives that have returned back, and said you guys were right, because I guess from them watching lives, they actually saw through the mask, and that's when all the ish hits the fan. So yeah, I mean, they are going to deny that they're narcissists. Since it's such a topic right now, they know that we know. They're going to call you a narcissist. They're going to tell you you don't know what you're talking about. Some of
them crazy like mine, because when I told him he was a narcissist, he told me I probably am. So some of them are just, hey.
Wow, he was grandiose. He was like, yeah, I'm a demon, and what? But Dawn Marie says, once you see the level of evil, you cannot unsee it. That is true, and I think that's why so many people, that has become like basically the motto for survivors. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I'm going to tell you, once I saw mine, I was literally hard. Once I figured out what was going on, it was just like someone literally took a bag of bricks and threw it across my head. Because I had to admit to myself, this is a freaking demon. This is a demon. And Dawn Marie says he probably thinks I am a narc, and I am. But just for the fact that you question the fact that you are a narcissist usually means that you're not. Again, narcissists can't reflect. See, these are some of the giveaways. These are definitely some of the giveaways. These are some of the things that you have to pay attention to. I'm going to tell you guys, like I said, I've got stuff all around. Okay, I have free resources. No, completely free. Just hit that blueprint link in my bio. Okay, it's like the first thing. Just hit it. Peruse. Find something that works for you. If you are going, I'm sorry.
You have a lot of good stuff. They really should.
I try. I gotta do something at the time.
A lot of good stuff.
As the thoughts hit me, again, I am really dedicated. That's why I always tell people there's free stuff. Yeah, I put up the stuff for my courses. Do have a nonprofit. Does have to survive. So if you buy a course, happy. Make sure you leave a review. But if you listen to an audio book, I'm good with that. It means that I'm living within my purpose. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If one person from this live listens to an audio book and they get clarity, it's a win-win for me. It really is. And what did the audio book cost them? Nothing whatsoever. So yeah, that's what I try to do. So yeah, I think I am going to go join Keith in a second, but I want you guys, to think about it. Are you rewriting reality? Are you changing what you're experiencing, because only you know what you feel, you know. Wante, since I am literally about to go, is there anything that you want to leave these good folks with before I bounce up?
You know, as we always say, just keep choosing you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to take care of you. Because if you don't take care of yourself, how can you help take care of the rest of your family, especially if you got children involved?
Yep,
so it's very important that we take care of ourselves physically and mentally.
I love that.
And so that's what I do them with, and just know that there is help out there, and you're not alone.
Yep, I love
that.
So yeah, it's always the same with me. At the end of the day, you guys are very powerful because you are empaths. Don't let the narcissist, you know, try to dim your light or take your light away. In order to do that, you need to stay powerful. You need to keep healing. And I think the reason why we all do what we do, love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you.
Uh-huh.